If you don't do your best or you do what's necessary, your skill level will improve. Because the only way you can increase your skill level in a subject or in the exam that you want to take is by increasing your skill level first. And most people try their best to do it, but really you should be just doing what's necessary. So you can see that this philosophy links with the fact that an exam needs you to have a high skill level in the subject that you're taking, or honestly in many subjects as well that are like related. So let's say you increase your skill level in math, you might actually find that your physics becomes better, and you may not have even tried your best. You may have just done what's necessary in like learning the math skill that you needed for math, and you accidentally realize that your physics has become like much better. And I want you to really internalize these two philosophies, because these are the two most important philosophies that you need to have. Because not only does it make you focus on the thing that you actually have to get right and do, but it really removes your anxiousness a lot because it changes your mindset. And another thing I want to talk about is that the reason why these two philosophies, which I'll repeat again, is don't do your best but just do what's necessary, and the fact that this has a relationship with your skill level. And if you do what's necessary, you will increase your skill level in the subject that you have. And the reason why these two philosophies work is because exams are logical. So just be logical. I know that sounds easier said than done when you're in an exam and there's like 1 hour left and you haven't even attempted like most of the questions. But the fact that that exams are logical and that you should be thinking logically along with the two philosophies, this is what will help you to not be anxious in an exam, because you understand how an exam works. Like an exam is logical, like they, at least for like the science subjects, right? Exams are logical. Just be logical. If my skill level has reached the point where I can answer a question in the exam, then I will get the question right, and I shouldn't be doing my best. I should just do what's necessary. I will just see what the question is at hand. How can I answer the question efficiently and just move on to the next question, the exam. And this would allow you to tackle the most amount of questions that you can tackle in the exam, and it will just help you to get everything right with less lower amount of effort. Another thing I also want to talk about is that a good exam strategy will help with not only anxiousness but will help you sort of answer the question in the most efficient way possible. What do I mean? Let's say you have the two philosophies in mind, and you have the belief that exams are logical, so I should just be logical. And then you get into the exam and you just try to answer the questions in the order that is given, one, question two, question three, which is fine, but there's a better way. Because sometimes the examiner likes to put the most difficult questions at the start of the paper just to stun you and just to waste your time, so that you will not have as much time as you would like to have for the rest of the questions. So if you have a good exam strategy, like the one that I have in my own course, I actually have a way to skip the harder questions first and to do all the easier questions in the whole paper. Then I'll move on to the harder questions. And you might think, oh well, Aku, that sounds like what I do. If there's a difficult question, I will just skip, and that doesn't sound like what you're saying. Doesn't sound that meaningful. Well, the way I do my exam strategy is that I have symbols and I have a system to categorize like how difficult a question is. And I do this with like not taking that much time. I do it in a split second for each question. and that will allow me to be the most efficient I can be in an exam. Whereas most people, they will either circle the question, or they will look at the question, then they will think, how difficult is this question? Should I do this question now, or should I do it later? And after 5 minutes, they'll say, okay, maybe I'll do it later. And then they'll move on, and they just wasted 5 minutes. You know how I do it? I see a difficult question. I put, I see like a very difficult question that I can't solve on the spot, but I could probably solve it if I had like more time. I have a symbol for that. I put the symbol and I just move on. The thinking that you do in an exam, that everyone does in an exam, that will take 5 10 minutes. Oh, should I do this question? Should I not do this question? I do it in a split second for every single question. Unless it is an easy question that I can just solve in like 2 3 minutes, then I wouldn't bother doing. I wouldn't. I wouldn't have to mark the question because I can already do it. Then I can just check my answer at the end. So if you want to check out this good exam strategy, it's in one of the modules in my course, and I feel that it really pairs well with the fact that exams are logical and the two philosophies, because it will really save your time in the exam, and it will give you more air space for your brain to breathe so that it can rationalize the fact that you will be you will be fine during the exam, because it's just about your skill level, and it's about the fact that exams are logical. So in the earlier part of this video, I covered on like some steps that you can implement right now. I told you some philosophies that you should internalize so that your mindset becomes better, and that will really help you with your anxiousness. Now I want to talk about things that are less direct, but they will still really help your anxiousness if you have any during the exam. Firstly, meditate 20 minutes a day. I always talk about this during my channel, and it's not easy. It's very it takes a lot of effort to really be able to be disciplined to do it every day. And I'll be honest, sometimes I struggle with it as well. But during my own GCE A level exam, I just made it a point to meditate for 10 to 20 minutes a day. As and I was able to stick with it during the period where it really mattered, which is like the days leading up to the exam, because I just knew that meditation would really help uh, with the fact that it helps you keep calm during the exam, and it helps you think better. And the reason why it does this is because it helps to eliminate all the thoughts that are not useful for you in the exam, which is like the thought of, oh, this question is so hard. You know, I mean, to be very honest, I have been meditating for the last like 2 to 3 years, and I had like maybe a year plus worth of meditation experience before my A levels. And when it gets to a point where you have one whole year of experience, you don't feel these thoughts as much popping up anymore. And you will almost sort of forget how it feels like to be anxious. And I don't mean this in just an exam, I mean this in everyday life. You kind of forget what being scared and being anxious feels like. And you will not feel like this in the first few days of implementing meditation. You will feel like this is extremely difficult. You feel like you can't do it. But that is exactly the feelings that you have to go through to be able to reach a point where in the exam you can think clearly, and you can and you will just be able to get through every single question without having to overthink about it. And like I said in the beginning of this video, the philosophies will really help you internalize this, and it will just be much better for you. And all of this effort along with the meditation will just help you to retain as much knowledge as you have gained through your own studying for the exam. Another thing I want to tell you is I want you to journal how you feel every day on like a piece of paper or in a book. And I would strongly recommend, no, actually I'll force you to have this journal in the form of like a paper and pen. I I'm someone who uses like digital technology a lot. Like not in a bad sense where I'm addicted to it, but like I use like I have like iPads, I have like phones, I have like a laptop, I have a PC and everything. But when it comes to self-reflection about problems, when it comes to journaling, it's just more effective to use a pen and paper because it feels more like introspective. Like it's just better for some reason. I don't know why, but it just works better. But if it's something like studying notes, yeah, of course, don't. It's better if you have like an iPad if there's a thing in your school. Right? Yeah, so we use different tools in our disposal for the right purpose, and for this purpose of journaling and self reflection, like what I just said, journal how you feel every day. I want you to do it on a piece of paper and with a pen, and it doesn't need to be extremely long. I would actually recommend that as you're starting off, just write one sentence on how you felt. Just one sentence. Do that for a week straight. The next week, write two sentences. Do that. The third week, write three sentences. And it might sound comical to just write one sentence in the first week. And sorry, I mean one sentence per each day in the first week. But that is good enough to maintain the momentum because we want to do these habits in a progressively overloaded way so that you don't lose track on so that you don't like bail these habits halfway and then end up feeling anxious in the exam again and then saying that, oh, these tactics don't work because I never really tried it, but it's just because you've given up and you haven't done enough of it. So journal how you feel every day. Nothing too complicated, just write one sentence per day for the first week, and as every week goes by, just increase the number of sentences by one. And by the time you get to the 7 or 8 week, you'll be writing paragraphs on how you feel each day, and you will have like 7 or 8 weeks worth of meditation practice, along with the philosophies that I talked about in the first part of the video, along with the fact that you have been increasing your skill level for 7 to 8 weeks in the subject that you've been learning, and that amount of progress that you can make in 7 to 8 weeks is a lot, and I'm not even done with the video. So let's move on. Stop using social media. I'll be very honest. I have an Instagram account, right? Like I'm never gonna delete it. Like that's not what I'm saying. You have to do. And of course, I use WhatsApp, right? Telegram. I don't use TikTok. I think that if there's an app that you shouldn't use, it should be TikTok, because not only like let's both of us let's keep this conversation to the both of us. You will waste a lot of time on like short form content like TikTok, and it's the fact that it's very convenient and it's very easy makes it problematic when you're trying to study. So I would suggest delete TikTok. Just just do it. I know like most people won't, but most people also don't get straight A's. So if you want to get straight A's, delete TikTok. Just don't use social media. But when it comes to Instagram, don't delete your account. Just delete the app. And if like let's say for example, like in my videos, I actually advocate that you should still be going out during exams. Maybe if you don't want to go out during exam period, that's fine. But you should still be like going out and like hanging out with friends during your like the weeks leading up to your exams, because I feel like that's still like very human thing to do, and it kind of eases your mind as you're studying for your exams. But of course, like your intensity of studying should be like a bit higher. And with the tactics in my channel that I talk about in my channel, you will actually increase your skill level if much more effectively than the average person. So it would actually make sense. Like if you just it would actually benefit you if you just went out and still had that form of like soothingness in your brain, because like hanging out with friends is like a good thing for you. And that's something you shouldn't stop in the at least you shouldn't stop in the months leading up to an exam. But maybe it comes to like 1 or 2 weeks, your friends probably just don't want to go out as well. But you should still be going out, in the sense going out for a walk, or like going out should still be something you do. It's just that maybe when the exam period comes, just do like less. Actually, if I were you, I wouldn't decrease like the intensity. It's just probably that I would maybe in the weeks leading up to the exam, it would be me just going out by myself, because my friends would probably want to be studying. Or if you have friends that don't really have an exam in that period of time, I would actually still consider it a good thing to go out with them, because going out with friends is completely fine. And if you want to post that on social media, I completely understand. So if I were you, what I used to do is I would take a picture with like my camera, like not the Instagram app, but I'll use the camera. I'll take like a photo or video, whatever I want. And we all know that taking a photo or video from your camera, then uploading it to Instagram is like makes the post or story like much better quality anyway. So I think most people do this anyway. But what I would do is just if I was going out and I wanted to post it on social media, I would use my camera app to do it. And then at the end of the day, or maybe if it's a very serious exam, okay, every exam is like kind of serious. I would suggest for you at the end of the week, you can post it. Just go on to like Instagram.com, or yeah, I would suggest you go to like the Instagram website, and then you just upload, like you just basically like post the story or post the post if you want to Instagram. Then just get out the website. The app shouldn't be on your phone at all times, and in that sense, you can still like retain the fact that you're like on Instagram. So this is what I did for the 2 years leading up to my GCE A levels. I basically didn't use social media, but people didn't think that I was I was like offline, if that makes sense. So it's a bit of mixed advice in a sense, because most self help gurus online would tell you just delete, yeah, just delete that. But I, as a Gen Z myself, I understand that social media is like a pretty big part of our life. So you can still use it, but use it in a different way. Don't use it for in the sense that you are gonna look at like Instagram reels, or like look at like posts from like the international forum, in the sense like you're looking at like posts like the your feed. You're looking at posts from your feed. Don't do that. Instagram reels, don't use that. TikTok, just don't use it. But you can use like Instagram, like you can use Instagram to like look at your friends' posts or your friends' stories, and like yeah, you can look at the messages as well, or you can post stories or your own posts, and that is honestly good enough. I never felt like my Instagram experience was ever short-lived, even though I didn't use social media. And most people, they will hear this and think, okay, Baku, you didn't, so you never quit social media, in the sense like you were still using it. So like, how is this advice useful? Because I didn't do the shit. I didn't do the stupid shit of like social media, which is like the time wasting part. I just like optimized it for the part that matters the most, honestly, which is like texting friends and like seeing what like your friends are up to, and like posting stories and posts, because everyone wants to post it, like post their own stories, just to show the amazing life that they have, right? So this is how I use social media. I will only honestly just let you do on Instagram. I think Telegram is fine. WhatsApp is fine. Those two are fine. You can still have that. It's no problem. If I was you, this sounds crazy, but I would delete WhatsApp like from time to time, because I can just look at WhatsApp from my computer. And if I was studying for that day, I would just, if I needed to really see a message, I would just go on like WhatsApp.com, not the WhatsApp app on my PC, because that is like, it's like an app. So it's basically like you're still having WhatsApp. Go to like WhatsApp.com, like what the WhatsApp web. I'm sure you know what that is. And then I will look at the messages if I really needed to, and then I would just not have WhatsApp on my phone. That is that helps you to be more focused, because your phone won't be always getting like the WhatsApp notifications. And if you're scared of the fact that but what if I can't get any messages, you can on your computer, so that's fine. If you don't want to do this, if you feel that it's too extreme, sure, but if you really want to optimize for your grades, I would really suggest you just do this, because you're not losing anything. You're not even losing the fact that people won't even think that you're offline, and like you don't even need to like explain it, because a lot of conventional advice is, okay, we're gonna stop using social media, just delete all of it. I feel that that's unnecessary, but it's good when you're like starting to like cut off from social media. So if I were you, this is what I would do right now. There shouldn't be TikTok just shouldn't exist on your phone. If not, getting it is quite hard. There might be a controversial opinion, but let's be honest, like having this conversation just between the two of us, you waste a lot of time. And even if you do get A's with while using TikTok and while using social media, I mean, you probably won't be watching this video, but let's say you do get A's either way. Like, wouldn't it just be better if you just didn't use TikTok and just like enjoy the firstly, like the increased amount of time that you have that you can spend on your life, and the fact that you can in a sense you can still use like Instagram, using like my way of using Instagram, so you wouldn't be like this, like living under a fucking rock kind of person. You will still be, you will still have like social media. It's just without the time wastage. That's why I suggest, if you're someone who like is honestly like failing everything, delete TikTok. Like just do it. But in terms of Instagram, it can doesn't need to be so extreme. I would suggest you delete Instagram off your phone. But like I said, if you wanna post stories, you wanna post posts, right? Use your camera app to do it, and then at the end of the week, then you post. Uh, Using like Instagram.com on your computer or whatever. And I would suggest you, when you post it at the end of the week, don't look at like Instagram reels. Don't look at like the 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 content part is, or the content part of Instagram. Just look at, your own stories, your own posts, and then like your friends one if you want, and then just like stop using it like at the end of the week after that. For WhatsApp, if I were you, I'll be extreme with it as well. Just delete WhatsApp off my phone, and use WhatsApp web. But that's only if I'm like at home, and uh if I'm at home and I'm studying for like 10 hours a day. And if I'm going out with my friends after that, I would just reinstall the app back on my phone and then just go out with them. And you might think, okay, then what's the point? I keep deleting WhatsApp, I keep installing WhatsApp again. Like, I don't understand what's the point. Well, the point is that you were completely focused for that first 10 hours of the day when you were studying. So that is extremely valuable, and that is the kind of studying that will actually push you from like a student who used to fail to like one of the top students in your school, because no one ever thinks like this. So this is how I would recommend you use WhatsApp. And like I already explained the Instagram part. There is no way to do this kind of thing for TikTok, because it's just too the content form is just too short, and it just makes it too convenient to use it in a way that will just waste a lot of time. So TikTok should just be something that you shouldn't use. I'm not saying it's a bad app, or it's like if you use TikTok, you're unsuccessful in life. That's not what I'm saying. But the fact of the matter is that it is really easy to be distracted when the content is like 30 seconds long and you can just keep swiping and swiping, because it means that when it's very easy to just get into like a TikTok or like a Instagram reel and just watch like 30 seconds of it, and then to just like close your phone, be like, oh, that was only 30 seconds. But it's never only 30 seconds, because we will scroll, see the next one, and scroll, see the next one, and scroll and scroll and scroll, and it's been 5 hours, and be like, oh, I had to study. Oh, but whoops. Oh, but now it's lunch, I have to eat lunch. And oh, I didn't study today. Oh, studying is really hard. I don't know how, how people study. Like, bro, just delete TikTok and don't use the Instagram reels, or like look at other people's posts. Like, when I mean people, I mean like the people that like you don't know, like in the sense like you go on the Instagram feed, then you see those posts. Don't look at that, because it's like the same nature like an Instagram reel. You just look at one, you just keep scrolling, and you'll be. The point of this part of the video is to stop using social media so that you can have increased focus. So don't use TikTok. Instagram, like use it the way I use it, which is like I like people around me think that I still use it, but I don't, and no one notices at all. But they can notice that I don't use Instagram when I'm around them with my phone, and they'll be like, okay, why you not on Instagram? I thought you were like, where's the Instagram app on your phone? Like people will ask, but it doesn't matter. Just be like, oh, it's in hidden or something. Then they'll be like, oh, okay. And then people will just think like you're a normal guy, and then you get like the highest grades, and you're still going out, and they'll be like, okay, how are you still going out? How are you still getting the highest grades? How are you still like this? This is the reason why. Because I'm the kind of guy who delete WhatsApp in the first part of the day, to have that first 10 hours of extreme focus. It doesn't mean I'm extreme. If I was extreme, I would delete everything and live under a rock, but I don't do that because that is too extreme. What we need to do is to maximize the amount of time that we have. And this, using social media like this, is how we're going to do it. So, to recap, if the WhatsApp part is optional, if you feel that you don't really want to like delete WhatsApp, then like install WhatsApp and delete WhatsApp. Okay, WhatsApp is fine. It can be a bit distracting because like your friends group chats and stuff. But if you want to leave WhatsApp on your phone, I would let it happen. But if you feel that WhatsApp is getting distracting and you're still not getting the results you want, then you can consider like deleting WhatsApp and just like staying with your computer so that if you need to message someone or something, you can just use WhatsApp web. And don't use WhatsApp like the app on your laptop because then it is in the same sense like it pings like there's the notifications and everything, and that would add to like the convenience of using WhatsApp. You should have the friction of typing whatsapp.com on your computer, and it should take a while to load, and then you will see the message, and that will remove the idea of like, oh, but what if someone messages me? Well, you can still see it. And if it comes to Instagram, use it at the end of the week, or if you want, what I'll recommend is to help you get used to not using Instagram. Only use Instagram at the end of the day for 30 minutes, and then slowly transition to using Instagram the way I use it, by not looking at Instagram reels, by not looking at the posts from like your feed, and just using your camera app to take photos or videos. Because I'm still going out is still productive in my opinion. Because like you're hanging out with friends is like a good social interaction. It helps with your brain and everything. You can still go out, take pictures with your camera, take videos, and then you can post on Instagram at the end of the week, or as you're first starting to get used to like not having Instagram, just post it at the end of the day or at the end of 3 days, and then like people would think, oh, maybe he was maybe maybe I know it's been like 3 days since he posted a story, but that's usually when like most people post a story anyway, because they're like going out, like honestly having like a very interesting like moment in the week, like every 3 days. So it's not weird at all. And if you're worried about like people think you live under a rock, this is how you won't be seen as living under a rock. But if I were you, I would sacrifice a bit of that social validation for like the thing that you actually want right now, which is better grades. And it's not that bad. Like you will just get used to it. Like even in your own class, there are people who you can tell like who use social media a lot, and that might be most of them. And there's like one or two people who they have Instagram, but like they are not really like on it, or at least they don't look like they're really on it. So it doesn't really matter because people don't give a fuck. People have their own problems to think about, and I understand that deleting everything, especially Instagram and TikTok at first, is quite daunting. But if you use it the way like I told you, which is like you know TikTok, there's no way you can use TikTok and like it having like no harm on your life, because the way that it is engineered is to waste your time. I know that sounds very like weird and like okay, aku TikTok. Look, I don't think TikTok is like a bad app, or I don't think it's like a bad thing. But in the goal that you have right now, which is like you want to increase your grades, don't use it. But Instagram is not entirely bad. It's still like kind of bad, but use it the way I use it, and it will have no like you can like people still think you're like a normal person and everything. Cause like not everyone uses TikTok. Like I know it's a lot of people, but like everyone uses Instagram. Everyone. So if you, as long as you have Instagram, like your social media needs in your brain will be fine. Like you'll be like, okay, I still have Instagram, so it's not a big deal. And you think like that, and you just save 10 hours because you don't really use TikTok, and you just don't use TikTok. And then WhatsApp you can have it if you want, or if you want to be a bit more extreme and like solidify the fact that you don't really use social media, you can still read messages on WhatsApp.com and delete WhatsApp from your phone. But if you want to leave WhatsApp on your phone, that's perfectly fine as well. And progressively overload this. Don't like just start slowly and then keep going. Don't like, okay. Honestly, the way I did it was to just uninstall everything at first. Then after a while, I realized okay, I can still like use Instagram to like post stories. So I'll just post and then I'll just come back. There's no compromising for TikTok. There's no way. There's no way it's gonna end well. Like cause I've used TikTok before. I'm not like I don't like live under a rock my whole life. I still used to be a normal Gen Z guy. So I've used TikTok before, and honestly it just kept wasting my time. And then after a point I realized that okay, like it's kind of funny. Like I get the trend, but TikTok is like a really funny app. Honestly, it's quite a fun app. But after a while I realized that like 10 hours of per day of my life is kind of a lot to give to something that doesn't really help me. And I don't mean it in like a very like TikTok is a fucking evil app. TikTok is a completely normal app to have on your phone, but when it comes to like goal like achieving your goals and stuff like that, you should optimize your time. And like if you have Instagram and like you can still like post on Instagram, like that's fine. That's good enough. Like I'm not even saying like imagine I'm saying like okay just delete this one app. This app is like kind of bad, but like, you can still like use it in a way that's not so bad, and then you can keep accept. Like that's not that bad. I'm not asking you to delete everything. I'm just saying delete one. There's no way. There's no way you can compromise with one. Instagram is fine, but use it the way I use it. WhatsApp, yeah, just use WhatsApp if you want. The better way is to be extreme with all three. But at a certain point in time, you're gonna realize, okay, maybe I do need Instagram like sometimes, and like going out with friends, and then they're posting stories. You might feel that okay, maybe I should like repost at least. You can do that, but like do it at the end of the week, or do it at the end of like 3 days. So that's for social media. That's how I would want you to use social media, because I understand like not using it will make you seem like a bum, right? But using it this way will be so much better for you, and you will get like 95 or 99% of the benefits of like not using social media. So use it like this, and it will be much more manageable, and it's much more realistic, and it will just help in the fact that you want to get better grades. Now, speaking about social media, I want to talk about how's your habits. What are the things you do throughout the day that really destroys like the flow of your day? Let's say you were supposed to do something like something productive, like you were supposed to like work on this math assignment, and then it was 2 hours long, and it's like kind of hard, but you have to do it, and then you do it, and then you're like lethargic like 1.5 hours of the way through. What are the tendencies that you have to like what are your tendencies at like that 1.5 hour mark? Do you like go up from your seat, take a glass of water, drink, and then continue, which is like completely healthy and completely fine? Or do you go to your phone and start scrolling, and then after 3 hours you're like, okay, come, let's continue? Now you've lost momentum, you've lost momentum, you've lost like the thing, like the the momentum that you had to like finish the 30 minutes, but now you have to do it in like an hour, because now you need 30 minutes to get into the momentum again. And then the last 30 minutes of a paper is usually like one, like sometimes probably the hardest part of the paper, so now you're gonna take longer, maybe not even 1 hour, you're gonna take 1 hour and 30 minutes. So like the whole 2 hour assignment became 6 hours plus like 4 hours of like you scrolling. So it took 10 hours, and now you have like two more assignments left that you have to do. Now you're panicked. And does this sound like you? Is this how your habits are throughout the day? And if that's the case, I would, I would suggest like my prescription of how you should use social media. To use TikTok. Instagram is fine, but use it like once a week in like posting, and like looking at your friends' stories and posts only. Then like just WhatsApp, which is like fine, fine. Like people are surprised that I even talk about WhatsApp. Like most internet self help gurus only talk about like TikTok and Instagram and whatever other apps are there. Uh, yeah, like no one even looks at WhatsApp. Like WhatsApp is pretty distracting as well, and you only realize this when you like stop using social media. You don't need to get so extreme, but at least comply with the fact that you should use TikTok. Instagram needs to be just look, just use it for like your people around you, like your friends, and you can use stories. You can look at stories and posts like at the end of the week or at the end of 3 days, to achieve the thing that you want, which is better grades. And then when it comes to WhatsApp, I said it like fucking 5 times in this video. I'm not gonna say it again, but this helps to fix your habits to make you more productive. And people might judge you. People might look at you weird. Maybe there's some people watching this video who think what I'm saying is ridiculous. Sounds like something a 40-year-old will be fucking saying. But I'm 19. At the end of the day, are the what do you want from life? Do you want, Because let me tell you what's the result of using social media like this, or having good habits like meditation and journaling, which are not that difficult. It's just the fact that you whether you have done them throughout the day or not. The problem that other people feel, which are very difficult, is child's play to you. That's how it feels like after years, or maybe after a few months of applying the habits in this video and like internalizing the philosophies that I've talked about in this video. Because you'll be much more like focused in the present moment, and you will be able to like each unit of energy in your brain that you used to have like 5 years ago, then 1 unit of energy that you have in your brain now when you've done these habits for a while, you could destroy that past version of yourself. He used to struggle and now you're like excelling. And what's the cost? Is it really that much? You can Let me tell you, after a while, it really feels completely normal again. When you're changing at first, it feels weird. It feels out of place. But when you fix your habits, you increase your skill level, you adopt the correct mindsets, life becomes extremely easy after that. And if you still fail, it'll be much easier to pick yourself back up because now you're like more clearer and you're more focused and you can just pick yourself back up. It literally feels easier. Life feels easier. Think about that. It's the thing that's called life that most people struggle with for like 40, 50 years. In a few months, it becomes so much easier. That's like the biggest reward that you could ever have. Like that's like the biggest benefit you could ever have in your life, man. Like the fact that the whole thing that's called life feels easier, and that is more rewarding. That you're better at life because it feels easier, because it's real life. Like the things that you get out of it is it's not like a video game where you hit a certain rank and you're like yay, and then it's just a rank after that. But like the fact that life feels easier and the rewards you get from it are permanent. So you feel like a much better person, even though it's just the fact that yeah, you have become a better person, but it's just the fact that your habits have made you feel that life became easier. And if you think about this in the opposite direction, where if your habits are bad, you waste a lot of time scrolling on your phone or what, uh, this will make life feel much more harder than it has to be, and you don't realize that some people are just destroying the problems that you find extremely difficult, and you wonder if it's like because you're like not good enough. It's not that you're not good enough. It's just that your habits made you feel that the problems in life are more difficult. But then someone just comes along and destroys the problem that you have, and you're like, how did he do that? Is he much better than me? And then this results in insecurities. So the fact I want to say is, fix your habits. Do it slowly at first, and don't worry about people's judgment, because they're gonna judge you anyway. So just don't give a fuck. Fix your diet. Just eat cleaner. Progressively eat cleaner. I'm not asking you to eat like a monk in like the first week of you trying to become a better person. Like I had McDonald's yesterday. That was the first time in 6 months. But why did I have McDonald's? Is it because I want to be like a worse person? Or no, it's because I went out with my friends and we were having McDonald's, and I was like, okay, let's just have McDonald's this one time. My daily diet has chicken, rice, carbs, nuts, beef, and it's extremely healthy. And I'm not saying this to flex or what, but do the habits that I'm talking about in this video in a progressive way, and you will really feel that life becomes easier. And relating to the topic of this video, which is how do you decrease your anxiousness in an exam? When life feels easier, there's less to be anxious about because you are better. So fix your habits, fix your diet, and yeah, like I said, the social media thing, use it in the way I use it, which is like, yeah, you already know. Next, I want to ask, when was the last time you did something that made you happy. In the previous part of this video, I talked about the fact that you can still post like stories and posts on Instagram that you're going out, because going out with your friends makes you happy. Like, I think that's just like completely normal, and it's something that you should retain even during exam period. Maybe not like 1 or 2 weeks before, but a few months before, because it helps to like regulate your brain. It's like social interaction, and it does a lot for you. And like I said, on this channel a lot of times, when you learn how to study more efficiently and effectively in the first place, you can afford to do things like this, and it's not distracting. But if you use social media, like, because of the fact that it's like social media is distracting. But like, if you go out with friends, like, you can't be like addicted in like going out with friends. At least not in like a bad way. Like, like, in the sense, like, if you go out with friends, yes, you can like want to go out with them again because it was fun, not because like you're addicted to it in a weird way. So please continue to go out. I'm not saying you can't have fun. Uh, Go out, and honestly, when you listen to my advice in the channel, you will be able to free up more space in like other areas of life other than studying, while still getting your grades up. So you actually feel like you can do much more instead of just you know focusing on exams and be like, okay, I can only study, and that's the only way it's gonna work and increase my marks and my skill level. No, that's not how it works. You need to do it from like a holistic perspective, and then that is how you will destroy exams. But at the end of the day, still remove your distractions. The last thing I want to say is, don't forget the exam strategy that I talked about, because an exam strategy will really help to systemize like how you approach every exam, which will really help to ease the anxiousness, because you already know like what you're gonna do in the exam, because you literally have a strategy for it, and it makes it like much. You don't have to think. It's like having a personal assistant, in the exam with you. It's like going to the gym while like just having like, okay, what should I do today? Maybe I take this dumbbell and like start doing bicep curls. Okay, maybe then after biceps I'll do triceps. Or you can just have like an app to, okay, this is not an ad, but you can just have like an app to like tell you what to do and everything. It's like having that same thing but in the exam. So that's what an exam strategy does, and it's in one of the modules in my course. So if you want to check it out, by all means you can. But at the end of the day, just have an exam strategy in place, so that it will make you doing the exam feel much more easier. That's all I have in this video. I talked about a lot, and at the end of the day, just realize that you should fix the root cause of the problem, which is, oh, which the root cause of the problem, and the problem is that the fact that you are anxious in the exam. So fix the root cause of the problem, so that it'll be much easier to tackle the anxiousness. And I think a lot of the things that I talked about in this video will really help you in getting, not only becoming a better person, but to be able to destroy any exam, destroy your anxiousness. And this will also help you destroy your anxiousness in the rest of life, not just exams. Cheers.